A brand new studio comes out and drops one of the best trailers we've seen in recent history, followed up by one of the best looking gameplay demos I've seen from an unreleased game in a very long time. The trailer gets 2 million views, and then 11 months later, I see no hype or big push towards this game. If you look at Google Trends, you can see Tides of Annihilation is constantly trending. It has constant interest and constant searches, but I don't see any of the big creators talking about it yet or any real hype behind this game yet, and it's set to release this year. Maybe it's just because we haven't seen anything new in a few months, or maybe it's because it's a brand new studio, but I feel like we should be hearing a lot more about this game than we have so far. So, as usual, I'm here to fill you in. Together, we're going to sit and talk about it. We're going to take a look at Tides of Annihilation, everything we know about it so far, why it might be getting overlooked right now, and why I think once it does drop and once it gets its big marketing push, I think this is going to be Game of the Year material. And the further I look into it, the further I think this studio has something very special on their hands. I'm going to show you why this game is going to be something big, but first let's take a look at what the game is and what we know about it so far, and then I think the answers are going to be much more clear without much explanation needed. And real quick, if you enjoy these videos and these kind of conversations and hearing about upcoming games like this or the video game industry as a whole, please consider dropping the video a like or a sub. I'm trying to build a place where I can talk about this stuff every week and basically have like a real community, since I love talking to you guys in the comments so much. So having a thing like a like or a sub obviously helps the video a lot, so it means a lot to me. So appreciate that. Okay, anyways, moving on. Tides of Annihilation is an upcoming single-player fantasy action game inspired by Arthurian legend. It's set in a broken version of London where it seems like we have modern ruins and medieval fantasy being blended together. You play as a character named Gwendolyn. She's voiced by Jennifer English, who was fantastic in Baldur's Gate 3 and even better in Expedition 33. And having someone like that on a new IP, I think does actually a lot for its credibility, because I don't think she'd want to attach her name to some bullshit. So I think if she's read through the game and read through the script, I think there's got to be at least something special there for her to want to attach her name to it. So the main gameplay hook seems like it's combat built around summoning spectral knights that fight alongside you. I don't know if it's just me, but these summons remind me a lot of Final Fantasy summons, and the way they seem to change the combat and give you new abilities depending on which summon you're using seems like something totally new to me. It's being developed by Eclipse Glow Games, which is a newer studio, and this is their first game. So that said, the team is made up of developers who have previously worked on franchises like Assassin's Creed, Persona, Yakuza, For Honor, and Prince of Persia. So I have confidence in these guys. It's confirmed for PS5, PC, and Xbox Series consoles. There's no release date yet, but it's set to come sometime this year in 2026 from what we know. Technically, it's an independent studio, but this isn't an indie scale project. This is a new studio aiming at a full AAA presentation, just without the big traditional publisher basically attached, which is an important factor and one of the many reasons I think this game is going to be innovative and a big success. This game is backed by Tencent, and I mean, honestly, at this point, tell me a company in the gaming industry that doesn't have some kind of Tencent ownership in their stock, so that's fine. The point is, this game has money behind it, and judging by what we've seen, that budget was not small. The studio has over 100 devs, and as mentioned, many of them are vets who worked on many classic titles, so these guys know what they're doing, and they have big money being injected into it, so they have know-how, they have the will to do it, and they have the money now to be able to do it. So I think the key difference between this and your typical AAA release is two major things. The game is a China-based studio, so they don't have all the typical stipulations that gamers complain about in our modern Western gaming industry, like trying to appeal to everyone but not appealing to anyone in the process, or cater to whatever audience and all that kind of nonsense, chase boring trends. Number two, which is even more important, they don't have a major publisher, which means they are largely being left alone to just make the game they want to make. And we've seen from things like E33 what kind of greatness can come from a studio that's made up of ex-devs from other big studios being left alone to make something they believe in and love with money behind it. So the game to me looks like a mix of Nier Automata and Final Fantasy and Dark Souls all in one, basically in the best ways. The devs seem like they're trying to do something new and innovative, and that's always something I'm welcome to seeing. So before we get into why this game feels overlooked, let's look at what they've actually shown so far. It's a single-player, third-person action game with a heavy focus on melee combat. We can see that. You're dodging, countering, chaining attacks together, and the combat looks fast but still has some weight to it. It doesn't look floaty like a lot of these fast-paced action games are, especially ones from this region, but it seems like Neo levels of hit collision and detection and reaction, which is really good with me. The main hook or gimmick is the Spectral Knight system. You can summon these knights during combat, but they're not AI party members like it may seem like on screen. They function more like abilities you slot in and use depending on how you want to play. Some seem focused on like extra damage, some on crowd control, some on extending combos, so there's clearly some kind of build choice happening there. Enemy design is also clearly on the bigger side. The footage shows large groups of enemies, massive knight-like bosses, and even giant encounters that look more interactive than just hacking away at the health bar. Some enemies appear climbable or designed around positioning rather than just having to take pure damage, which also looks cool. The world itself looks fairly large and connected. It seems like it's blending ruined modern London landmarks with medieval fantasy environments. Exploration is clearly a part of the game, but they haven't shown enough yet to say whether it's going to be something like a Metroidvania style or a hub-based or a linear, or like the areas might connect overall later on like they do in Dark Souls. Overall, though, the presentation is very big and cinematic. Big set pieces, dramatic camera work, and combat designed to look and feel clearly like a AAA scale experience. The unique thing I think it's doing amongst everything else, it seems to be using the soul system of reincarnation and saving at bonfires. In this case, they're called fog crystals. But the combat seems to be closer to something like Bayonetta or Ninja Gaiden without like the combos and the points, just like more slowed down. The fact I'm having a hard time kind of trying to describe and pinpoint exactly what the combat is and how to describe it proves actually that it's doing something innovative and unique. I don't know exactly how to pinpoint and describe what it is, but it's not Souls-like combat and it's not just pure action combat. So whatever that is and whatever that marriage of systems in between is, that's what it seems to be. But this mix of genres seems to make it look fresh, and it feels fresh to me. And honestly, with all the cookie cutter stuff we get nowadays, that's exciting. The point I'm trying to make is I don't think this is just going to be another Souls game in any of the combat ways, but it definitely seems to be borrowing from some of those designs and elements. And I know not every giant medieval clad armor big demon means Dark Souls, but I think if you look close, it's easy to see some of the Miyazaki inspiration in this game. Bayonetta, Nier Automata, Final Fantasy, and Dark Souls seem to be the main inspirations, but they've clearly made their own unique original thing, and I think the world design and characters and boss designs all look unique and fantastic. Look, even though we've seen some cool gameplay and story hints, there's still a lot we don't know. Actually, Tides of Annihilation has more we probably don't know than we do. Just what we do know looks super cool. There's no confirmed release date yet, just that it's planned for 2026. We don't know how big the world really is. I don't think this is going to be like an open world experience, but I also don't think it's going to be straight linear either. Is it structured zones? Is it maybe something like the way that those Jedi Survivor games were, where they're more like a open world, like a semi-open world Metroidvania hub style? I don't know. The developers haven't said how long the game's going to take to beat, which would be our biggest clue there. So we don't really know that yet either. We don't know how deep the progression systems are going to go or what the full like weapon and skill customizations look like. But with all these cool summons that have got me really excited because they look so fucking cool, I think it's going to be pretty innovative and unique, and we're going to have a lot of choice and variance in the combat there. All of those things that we don't know are the real gaps that we kind of have to deal with for now. But these are the things is why I'm confused, is like, why haven't we had a bigger marketing push for this? So as of now, what we do know is we have a brand new game from passionate ex-big studio AAA devs who've been basically what seems largely left alone to make a unique and new innovative game that blends gameplay elements from different genres with their own new unique spin on it. Is that not something to be excited about? I think the reason this game feels invisible right now comes down to a few simple things. First, there hasn't been a sustained marketing push. It had a strong reveal, solid gameplay, and then just silence. And in today's industry, silence is basically death because things just move so fast now. If a game isn't constantly reappearing in trailers or showcases or creator coverage, people just move on really fast. So second, B, it's a brand new IP from a brand new studio. Even if the footage looks great, players are way more cautious now, as they should be. we've all been burned enough times that people don't emotionally invest early unless there's like a lot of proof or familiar names attached or something like that. And then third C, the bigger issue is the attention economy itself. There's just too many games. There's too much happening right now. GTA 6 is just like the spotlight of 2026. Too many reveals, too much just noise at once. So games with massive marketing machines stay in the conversation, and games like this without one, even good looking ones, quietly kind of just fall through the cracks. But that might be on purpose right now. They might just be cooking and just have like a big thing coming up. There's a Sony State of Play coming up in 2 days as of me recording this. And I'm thinking that this whole video may just become redundant at that point, because I'm hoping that we're going to have like a next big marketing thing from that. And we're going to see what's going to happen with that game there. I don't actually think that's what's going to happen with this game in particular as far as the A, B's, and C's I listed. I think it's more an A and B, not C. I just think there's a lot of noise and we haven't got a lot of marketing yet, and that's the reason the game's not like popular in the video game zeitgeist right now. I think once the game gets its next marketing push and gets closer to release, people are really going to start paying attention beyond just, hey, this game looks cool, let's take a look. But they're going to realize how innovative it is. And once the devs start talking about the actual systems, I think they're going to see that this is something different. In a world of copy and paste cookie cutter games, I really like when something new like this gets me excited. When this game finally does really pop off, of course, I'll be here to talk about it. So something now I want to quickly touch base on is I've been thinking a lot about this channel, guys, and what it's really about. We're a year into this now, and if you look back, most of what I talk about is the video game industry as a whole. And whatever else in this hobby basically genuinely interests me. I've always been hesitant to do traditional reviews. I don't want to turn playing games into homework. I don't believe in number scores, and I want to enjoy games without having to like overanalyze them while I'm playing them. But that doesn't mean I don't want to talk about actual specific games like at all. So what I want to do is talk about games that matter to me, games I'm excited for, games that feel special, games that might be getting overlooked, games that could have an impact when they finally come out, or just sleeper indie hits. Whether they're huge AAA releases or just something flying under the radar, I just want to talk about video games I'm generally interested in. So that's the identity here. If you want my usual honest takes on what's happening in the video game industry, that's not changing. Come back, that's here every week. But I honestly feel like I'm incredibly neutral and give some of the best, basically, modern video game industry commentary on this platform because of my neutrality. So I think for the reason that I do that well, I think I could talk about specific video games well, and at least I enjoy doing it. So I want you guys to be able to count on me to help you spot games that deserve your attention, not just whatever is the biggest and like hardest getting pushed marketing that day. So that's it. Yeah, I'm excited to be able to do that, and I think that's what we're going to start doing. And from now on, I'm going to do 2 videos a week, and one is going to be our usual video game industry, and the other one is going to be about a specific game I'm interested in that week. Crimson Desert video was exactly that, and the response you guys gave on that meant a lot. So thank you for that, and going forward, that's what you can expect from me. I'll be here every week talking about games worth watching and the usual big picture around them. So let me know what you guys think of Tides of Annihilation. If you're hyped for it as I am, if you feel like this game is going to be as big of a hit as I do once it actually releases and gets some marketing behind it. So that's it. Thank you for listening to my little ramble there, but it had to be said at some point, so there it is. I'm excited to talk to you guys about the comments in this one. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to give it a like and a sub. If you haven't, all that stuff helps with all the algorithmics. And that's it. I'll see you guys next week. Ciao. I'm out.